What's up, Average Dad fans? Welcome back to another video, and it's this, the Nubia Z60 Ultra 1 month on. Yes, I don't do enough of these, I don't follow up enough, and I've read the feedback, and believe it or not, the Z60 Ultra is one of the most popular phones of the year so far, when it comes to the Average Dad views. So what I want to do is I want to give you my full 1 month experience using the phone on and off. I have to be entirely honest. As you know, I've had many phones, but I have got a couple of photos to compare this with other phones such as the OnePlus 12, the S24 Ultra, even the iPhone 15 Pro Max. I want to talk about the battery life and again, just my everyday, day-to-day experience using the Z60 Ultra and if it's still worth buying a month on from its release. Let's go. The first question I want to answer is the Z60 Ultra worth buying now? Of course. Of course it is 100 times over. You can pick up this device, this exact device, with 256 gigabytes of storage, 12 gigabytes of RAM on the Nubia official global website for under £700. In fact, closer to £650. And remember, the specs of this device are phenomenal. Triple camera setup, including a 3.5 or 3.2 times optical zoom lens on the back, Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 chip in front. It's essentially the Red Magic 9 Pro gaming phone, but with flagship cameras. The full 120Hz 6.8 inch display, uninterrupted, remember, no hole punch camera. Now that has its downsides and I've talked about that before. And I'll talk about that, how that plays into my 1 month later. There's a 6000 milliamp hour battery in here. The phone charges at 80 watts. As mentioned, it's just a flagship killing beast at half the price of your typical Samsung or Apple flagships. Now, using the phone on and off has actually given the Z60 Ultra a bit of an advantage here because no matter which phone I am switching from and to, they're all going to have a hole punch on the front or a dynamic island or something to house a selfie camera. And ultimately what that means is every other phone has an interrupted display. So when I go back to the Nubia, it's a breath of fresh air and it reminds me how absolutely stunning and sharp and beautiful and uninterrupted the display is. I've mentioned before, and a month later, this still rings true. Consuming content on this device cannot be matched by any other phone in my experience. It's as immersive as a 6.8 inch screen is ever going to be. Now, I talked about the camera comparisons. I've done a camera video, I've done a review of the phone, but a month later, other phones have come out. So what I want to do is just quickly compare 3 shots from each of the 3 lenses, an ultra wide, a wide, and the 3 times optical. Here's those 3 shots taking on the Nubia, the OnePlus 12, the S24 Ultra, and the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Take a look at these shots and then tell me what you think in the comments. Is the Nubia far behind? Does it actually beat some in terms of colour, sharpness, and saturation? Let me know in the comments. I'm intrigued to hear your thoughts. Now, one area the Nubia cannot win, and it is that sacrifice of giving you the full immersive 6.8-inch screen. It's the selfie camera. It's awful. It's trash. It really is. Other than like a Zoom or Microsoft Teams call, I can see no real benefit for me as a YouTube content creator. I'm never going to use that phone like I use my iPhone for its 4K recording. It's just never going to happen. But if you are in a pinch and you want to take a very quick selfie in very, very good light, the results might be okay. But I talked about this already. What Nubia are trying is something different, and I ain't going to shoot them down for that. Trying to give us a full screen display, and every year that they do this, the under display selfie camera is getting better. It's just about 5 years off from where it needs to be. Now, another thing in the Nubia that is definitely its downside is the software. This is not the perfect device. macOS 14 is fine as a stock Android skin. But when you have been using phones like the S24 Ultra or the X7 Ultra from Oppo, using ColorOS and One UI, when you then go back to macOS, it's blatantly clear how stripped back and empty that software experience feels. From customization to overall animations and speed, it just feels a year or two behind the big boys when it comes to software. And I'm talking no AI. There's zero AI, unlike on the S24 Ultra, which is basically does everything. Photo tools like you get on the Pixel 8 Pro. Yes, there's a pro mode on the camera. Yes, you can edit pictures to some degree, but there's nothing like magic eraser or object removal or anything like that included in macOS. They're not taking advantage of Android. Now, again, my personal experience after a month, I didn't think this would actually be a factor because it's never really been a huge deal in my life. Wireless charging. Wireless charging, I tend to get by. I've got cables everywhere, plug points everywhere. But with my new desk setup and with the SuperVOOC 50 watts wireless charger that came from the OnePlus and a previous wireless charger that I had before, I've started to use it a hell of a lot more, just for convenience sake. Being able to charge the OnePlus 12 at 50 watts wirelessly on my desk is, well, faster than I can charge my S24 Ultra and iPhone 15 Pro Max wired. I have placed the Z60 Ultra on the wireless charger about 4 times now. Gone back an hour later and realised, oh, shit, this doesn't have a wireless charger inside. So yeah, I know that makes me sound stupid, and I'll hold my hands up, I am. But I guess it's almost a compliment to Nubia. It feels like such a flagship phone, you just assume there's wireless charging in there, and there's not. The other thing that people rarely talk about, but is used every day for 90% of people, is haptics. Some weirdos turn off all haptics, and I just don't know how you can function like that. But for those normies that keep the haptics on, I'm telling you now, until I used the OnePlus 12, the Nubia probably had the best haptics. Even better than my iPhone 15 Pro Max. Genuinely. But now the OnePlus 12 exists, and the haptics on that are the best I've ever used. Certainly the best I've ever used. So all these little things, the good points, the bad points, all still ultimately mean that I can highly recommend the Nubia. The one thing I will say is, if you're in the market for a flagship device at a non-flagship price, because the OnePlus 12 is out, and it is, well, for the 256GB version, you can actually pick this up for only £50 to £70 more cash than the Nubia just now. I can't strongly recommend the Nubia because of what it's missing. The OnePlus 12 is not missing wireless charging or multitasking or some AI features. So it's hard to give like any new hot take on the Nubia other than that it is still a solid device. I would advise to hold off and wait if you can get one on an even better deal. If you're asking in the comments or message me on Instagram, yes, of course, mine is for sale. But if you are looking to buy brand new retail, maybe you want to do some further research on the OnePlus 12 or importing a Vivo X100 Pro from WONDA Mobile. The link's in the description to there, and as you all know, because I tell you every time, I get $10 for every sale through that link. So I do get something back, but trust me, I do not care if you use it, if you buy it or not. I've done videos on the Vivos, I've done videos on almost every phone on WONDA, because I've basically had them all. You're always going to get my honest opinion. That $10 through the affiliate link does not sway me in any way. So hopefully you enjoyed this 1 month later review. I'll try and do it with more devices. I appreciate though that with the Nubia, there's not really too many more hot takes I can give you or anything too new since my review, other than the other devices have come out and it's highlighted some benefits of the Nubia and shown some weaknesses just a bit more. So if you've enjoyed it, you know what to do. Smash like. We're at 15.2 thousand subscribers now. Let's get up to 16 by the end of February. Why the feck not? Until next time.